Hello everyone, and thank you for coming. My name is Diane Smith and I am an exit strategist. Now I see that look on your faces. Some of you are wondering exactly what is an exit strategist. Well, I assure you that before today is over, you will know exactly what it is that an exit strategist does. The short explanation is that an exit strategist is the one who helps you to get out, because there are many things that people want to get out of. Relationships, for example. They might be professional relationships, they might be private relationships, but when the time comes and you want to cut the cord, it's just time to get out. Then there are those financial woes that can inspire people to want to get out. I want to get out of my credit card debt, my mortgage payment, my car note, and I see that some of you want to get out of your student loans. Well, it all adds up to, when the time comes, it's time to get out. And then there's this favorite thing that people want to get out of.
On the job from 9 to 5. Working 9 to 5. What a way to make a live.
I'll bet you know all the words to that song. But how does that go? Let's see. You either like the pay, but you don't like the environment. Or you like the environment, but you don't like the pay. But some of you, you don't like either one. And you've been working out ways to work out how it's going to work out. But when it doesn't work anymore, it's just time to get out. And then there's some of you want to get out of here. And don't worry, you're not hurting my feelings. I understand. You've got the laundry to do and the dinner to fix and the spouse to pick up and the children to drop off. That's okay. You are spending your time wisely. You are in the right space at the right time, because I'm the one who's going to help you to get out. Because there are many reasons why people want to get out. Let's take a look at the top 4 reasons. One reason that people want to get out is because they feel unfulfilled. Now, some of you thought that you were crazy for wanting to get out. But you're not crazy, just empty. And when you feel empty, you know what it's time to do. You're going to want to write this down, but a car cannot run on empty, and neither can you. So when you're running on empty, it's time to get out. Another reason that people want to get out is that the situation has become too costly. The relationship is costing you your sanity and your joy. The job is costing you your ability to grow and realize your real purpose. And I know you can't afford that. So when it adds up to too much, it's simply time to get out. I want to give you a Diane Smith definition of costly. When what is being asked of me is more than what I can safely give, then it's too costly and it's time to get out. And then there is when it is just too stressful. The relationship is stressing you out. The finances are stressing you out, and the job is stressing you out. When the stress gets too high, it's just time to get out. And then there are those situations where it's just different. Okay? We get that relationship that we think is going to be oh so wonderful. We found Mr. or Mrs. Right, only to find out they've gone from Dr. Jekyll to Mr. Hyde. And it's just different. It's the old switcheroo. So what are you going to do? Get out. The only human thing to naturally feel when things are different is that you want to get out. You know, the dictionary defines the word out as away from a particular place, especially the inside of something. But I want to give you a Diane Smith definition of the word out. Out stands for overcoming unnecessary troubles. O-U-T. So, if we think it out in advance, then we'll have an idea as to how to get out when the time comes. Have it planned out before it's time, and we'll have an idea of what our options should be. Why? Because if we don't have an exit strategy, then it just doesn't feel the same. When we have an exit strategy planned out in advance, it's really a lot more comfortable for us. And society is set up for that in advance. We already know that when we go into something like a movie theater, we take notice of where the exits are. In case of an emergency, we'll already know what our options are. Can you think of some other instances where you've already pay extra to get an exit strategy or an option? Yeah, that's right. We pay for insurance, we pay for medical advice. We do all of that in advance just because we want to know in advance what our options are going to be. And when we do that, it helps us to feel safe when there's an exit. And when there is no exit, we feel trapped. So today, I want to talk to you about exit strategies for a new millennium. For many years, I worked for a Fortune 50 company as a training and development instructor. And don't get me wrong, I loved my job. I mean, I really, really loved my job. But the time came when we had to have massive layoffs, and there was a great downsizing going on in our division and across our company. And thousands of people were going to be losing their jobs. Well, my role in all of that was that I instructed a class called Who Moved My Cheese? And it's a course that provides a great exit strategy and a tool for dealing with change. So, when people first started coming to my class, they didn't know that they were going to be fired after my class. But the word got out, and pretty soon, well, they had given me this affectionate nickname. Well, I like to think of it as being an affectionate nickname anyway, but they called me the Black Widow, because I was going to be telling them some very good information and giving them good tools that they could use to help deal with all of this change. But after that, they were going to have their heads chopped off. But many people called me later to let me know that they really appreciated getting that information and that it had really helped them to keep a level head in times of change. So it's great to have that exit strategy. It's something that we can put a good value into. And in fact, we'll find that society is already set up to place a value on having an exit. We even pay extra to sit in the exit row of an airplane. The seats recline more fully. There's a lot more leg room. The seat in front of us doesn't end up in our lap. We have a lot more control over our environment, and we don't mind paying extra when we value that difference. Let's ask our friend Arnold what he thinks about having an exit strategy. Arnold?
Come with me if you want to live.
Wow. No, Arnold. Come with me if you want to live, because I'm the one who's going to be talking about exit strategies for a new millennium. Because if you don't have an exit strategy pre-thought out before you get ready to get out, then you will not be prepared for your options. So, if you don't have that exit strategy pre-thought out, are you going to settle for your toxic relations exit strategy plans for you? Does not sound like fun. Are you going to settle for your bank's exit strategy plans for you? 1% interest. What were they thinking? They weren't thinking about you, that's for sure. Are you maybe holding out for your job's exit strategy for you? Well, if you do, that might work. Let me see. Don't they call that the 40-40-40 plan, where you work 40 years at 40 hours a week to get 40% of the pay that you couldn't afford to live on 100% of? That sounds like a dicey plan too. You're going to need some more exit strategies. So, the safest, most profitable ways for you to use certain exit strategies in your life is what we'll be discussing here. To do that, we'll need to begin with the end in mind. Because today we're going to talk about using property, that's real estate, as an exit strategy. It's going to help you escape the following: financial hardships, the job that you hate, that unfulfilled lifestyle that we talked about, and even those toxic relationships. Yes, having an exit strategy will help with all of these situations. So, to use property as an exit strategy, you'll first have to acquire some. So, when we ask in a survey to name some reasons that people give for not acquiring property, people say they don't have enough money, they feel that their credit isn't good enough, they don't have the income or the cash flow that they think you need in order to have property, or they already have property and they don't know what to do with what they've got. But there are many ways to skin a cat. You may have heard about a year ago about the big banks getting authorization to become landlords and rent out their inventory of foreclosed properties. Well, if you're in the real estate industry and you heard that, you probably laughed and said, oh, just wait until they get their first call from a tenant about a backed up toilet or an overflowing sink, and they'll be running out of that industry. Well, a year later, after a lot of work and preparation, voila, here I am. I've worked out arrangements with the big banks to deal with their pocket inventory of properties. So my supply is all over the country in every type of asset class: owner-occupied, commercial, agricultural, everything that could have possibly had a mortgage on it. So I've made arrangements with them to manage that property and get it into your hands in a nice, controlled way. We also have worked hard to develop a lease purchase program. The lease purchase program can be used for people who want to owner-occupy, as in a normal residence where they're going to live, but also we've got a bonus. There's a lease purchase program for investors to use. You might not have heard of that before, but I'm going to give you some more information about that. We also have something called a group investment, or a collaborative buying group, to help people who feel that they don't have enough money, don't have enough knowledge, don't have enough resources to handle rehabilitating some of these properties. Because let's face it, they're foreclosure properties and they're going to need a little extra TLC. But we've got every resource that you could possibly need in order to make it your dream property. You'll also be able to use traditional mortgage loans in this program. These properties are held by the original banks who did the foreclosures, so they're willing to hold on to the property, whether it's in a lease purchase program like I just described, or if you want to set up an entirely new mortgage with an entirely different company, that's okay too. So that ordinary mortgage loan that's been in existence in this country for a long time is perfectly fine in this program. You can also use 401k and individual retirement account money on these properties. You can also use other people's individual retirement account money. There's a lot of cash out there that is waiting and looking for a place to invest safely. Many people have pulled out of the stock market for one reason or another, especially in light of its recent volatility. And also, sometimes you've gone away from a job and you left a 401k plan right there. You can turn that into a self-directed IRA and use it for investment properties under this program. So basically, there are 3 successful property models. There is a buy and hold model, and if you would like to get more information about this buy and hold model, I'm going to ask you to text the word long, L-O-N-G, to a number, not this number, but the number on the next slide. But in that buy and hold model, that's for if you want to become a landlord or an owner-occupant and you just want to hold on to the property for a long time, get monthly residual income. It might be for commercial properties, single-family homes, or apartment buildings. So it's going to generate that recurring revenue. Text the word long to the number 301-355-2266. Or you could text the word now to the number 301-355-2266 if you're interested in finding out more about the fix and flip model. When you text the word now to this number, you'll get access to a pre-recorded or live webinar, depending on the date that you do it. And it will help you to understand how you can acquire these properties to repair them, remodel them, and turn them over for money that can come a lot faster than buy and hold in that long-term kind of strategy. So you see, we are very flexible as to what you do with the property. It gets you the fastest return, and it gets you large sums fast. Then there's our retirement model, where you create your retirement lifestyle. If you're interested in learning more about that, we've got a webinar, and you can get access to it by texting the word future to this number, the same number, 301-355-2266. In that retirement model, you might be putting your business into this property. One of the things that I do is I do assisted living and special needs housing. And my definition of special needs housing, you're going to find it pretty big. One of the modules in our webinar calls for 100 different types of special needs housing. Then I'm sure you've got a business that will fit one of those types, or maybe you'll show me a thing or two. There are 2 primary benefits of acquiring property, and that is you get to accumulate money. You can use this money for retirement or the lifestyle support that you like. There are very few limits placed on it. Then there's that dream that you might want to support. Most of us are familiar with the story of Noah and Noah's Ark. You see, the Lord wanted to destroy the world, and so he approached Noah and told him that he needed to build a really big boat, an ark. And he was very specific about it. And I'm sure that it wasn't easy for Noah to build that ark. I mean, when you think about it, Noah was building a boat in the middle of dry land and hoarding animals at a time when, well, being considered crazy or being feared for being crazy could get you stoned to death or at least run out of town. And so I'm sure it wasn't very easy for Noah. But if you can imagine what it must have felt like to Noah when it finally after all of his work building this creation that had been cast upon him, what did it feel like for Noah when it finally began to rain really, really hard? I call that the Noah effect. And for some of you, for some of us, you've got that dream. You've got that ark. It's been given to you. And maybe you're a little bit overwhelmed. Maybe resources are starting to come to you. Certainly, I have a resource here that I want to share with you because I've got a lot of ideas of how to help your dream come true. A more modern example of when someone has used a property for a dream that they had was the story of the House of Ruth. Back in 1975, a group of concerned citizens got together and created a nonprofit organization that helped women and children who were homeless or abused. And they've had quite a career. Right now they have over 17 buildings and properties associated with the House of Ruth. I heard that about 2 years ago, in one 24-hour period, they helped almost 1,000 people in need. Wow, they really filled a need. And I think that they know what it feels like to be handed that ark and make it happen. Who is this program for? If you're tired of unfulfilling, costly, and stressful issues in your life, and you're looking to cure your financial woes, I have something for you. If you're looking to acquire your dreams and fire your boss, and that's who these webinars are for. It's for you if you're looking to fire your boss or you hate your job and what they're paying you. It's called the Fund Your Dreams webinar series. And the webinars are free when you text those words to 301-355-2266. It's for you if you're tired of an unfulfilled, costly, stressful life. It's for you. It is a hands-on situation, so you should expect to have things that you need to do, steps that you'll need to take to make this dream or whatever it is that you've got a reality. But I am committed to helping you make it happen. We also have you work in very small groups of 10. Did I mention that it's hands-on? I say it again because I don't want you to be surprised when you get ready to roll up your sleeves and just get in there. How do you join? You text the word either long or now or future to 301-355-2266. Remember, I'm Diane Smith, and I've been talking to you about getting out, because out stands for overcoming unnecessary troubles. Now, I mentioned to you that I do assisted living and special needs care. The reason that I do that is because my family had a great need for Alzheimer's care for several of my relatives, including my mother. And I want to leave you with this poem that I go over with my mother at least once a day. It helps me keep track of how she's doing, and I think you would like it too. Happiness is something you create in your mind. It's not something you look for and can't seem to find. It's not something that's bought with silver or gold. It's not something you look for and can't seem to hold. It's just waking up and beginning each day by counting your blessings and kneeling to pray. It's giving up thoughts that breed discontent and knowing this life is a gift heaven sent, and it's by completing what God gives you to do then you'll find contentment and happiness too. Thank you very much. I'm Diane Smith. I'm helping you to get out.